Ivy, hello again. I know we talked a little bit before in the call. I appreciate you one more time joining this interview. I wanted to interview you because you have been one of the most successful studios that I've worked with in terms of the sale and the process after we get clients into the door. And you definitely nailed that process. So I wanted to pick your brain and learn from you and understand a little bit how it works so we can have a better reference. Um, of the process, right? So I guess if you could start B was like saying first like your name, the studio that you own and how long we've worked together for.
Yes, of course, Diego. So it's I own OptimalFit Pilates studio in Miami, and I've been having the studio for 16 years.
Wow.
So we are building up step by
I,
step.
I love it. I love it. And okay, B, as I mentioned at the beginning, I want to mainly focus on the process that happens after I bring somebody into the door or we get somebody for the offer. Um, Kind of like to approach the people, right, that come in for a first session.
Mhm.
So I guess like maybe the first question, it's mostly about mindset. Like I know sometimes people are scared of approaching new clients, or maybe they're not sure if they want to be approached and they just don't approach people, and that sometimes end up hurting the conversion. So I guess like what framework or mindset do you have? I guess as a recommendation for people who might be a little afraid to speak to people and an approach.
Yes, of course. So mindset is very important because your mindset, my mindset is says, they came to the studio, right? They came to take the class, so definitely they want your
Yes.
guidance, right? They want to. So you as a coach, you give them the guidance. I'm sorry, for example, it's the same like you come to the beauty salon or your hairdresser, says, okay, what I can do with my hair. You fully trust that person and, you pay money for that haircut, right? It's the same here. So I think that if the person comes in your studio, you're full in charge of what you can do for that person. I can change, it's a big change because, we're changing the lives of the people.
Okay.
So it's not about money, but the most important is like you came because you want to change, you want to feel the difference. And perhaps maybe your physical body first, but then the body as a whole, like your spiritual, like your mind, change. That's very powerful. And I think money can buy that for sure. And that's what they pay the price because of that. I think that's most important.
I love it. I love it. If I can add something, like one mindset that I like to have is if somebody's coming and we know Pilates can help them improve their life, I sometimes see like it's our duty as maybe you guys, owners or coaches, to help them, right? And to offer them the packages so they can improve. So
Right.
that's really good. Thank you for that, V. So
Sure.
maybe going strictly and directly into the process and just specifically about how the process works, how do you approach? Could you maybe tell me a little bit about how the initial approach happens? Let's say I am a new client and I'm coming for the first time and the class is just finished. Like, how would be like the approach initially, how you go about it?
So I definitely ask, how was your class for the person? And she said, oh, it was great. So, and then my next question will be, so yes, I can help you to, just to look at our plans to see what is the best for you, how many times per week you would like to come, and so we have some specials, some offers. Will be will be you interested to come and to see at the front desk? And the person, yes, of course. If he likes the class, if she likes the class, you will go for it.
I love it. Yeah. You would say that there's a like a number of people, a percentage that once they come in and they join, they like the class, if we present them with the offers, usually they end up staying, no? They just leave with a package bought, right? That happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to ask because I wanted to make sure, like the impact that your approach has, I guess like my next question, this is a question that mostly ask for myself, but I want to hear from you, as well. Some people can also learn from you. Is how important is it to approach the client who's coming in for the free session or the $1 session or the offer session when they're in the studio instead of letting them go to their houses?
Oh yes, that's very important because once it's right there, it's very, very important because they feel the difference after the class. They feel that the energy level totally different than when they come back home.
Yeah,
So in the classes, they're ready to buy, they're ready to change the life, because that's what they like the class, right? It's like at that moment. But
of
when
course.
that moment is gone, it's very hard because at home there's so many things,
Yeah.
and they forget, and they may never come back, and they said, okay, this is it.
Love them, yeah. Yeah. You found that even though we do follow up like call, text after somebody leaves, the conversion just drops after they leave without purchasing, right? So
Yes, definitely. Yes, they say like very hard, 50% definitely, or
um,
even more, the
yeah.
drops conversion.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to emphasize the importance of having people being approached in the studio because as you said, it's when they're the most familiar and they're feeling the benefits of Pilates. That's when we are most likely to help them make the decision and join. So yeah,
Right.
I appreciate your answer. So, couple more final questions for you, V is, let's say somebody that you mentioned how was the class and you will offer them the different options that we have. Um, how would be in a scenario of somebody who maybe gives you a small objection or is maybe not sure about joining the studio initially? How would you go about like, helping them or offering them something that can help them stay if they're insecure about making the purchase?
Right. I always answer, so, what's the reason you came to the studio? The reason that you came, it means that, you had some goals, right?
Yeah,
Behind, you had some goals. So, is your goal will be to lose weight? Is your goal will be to gain some balance or strength? And what do you want to achieve? And always ask that question. And can we help to achieve those goals? And basically, um, because you here already,
yeah,
so you need help, you need some guidance, you need some assistance, right?
yeah,
So I try to, like, from my coach perspective, because I know that if you do the exercise by yourself, it's not the same.
of course.
Because you have to be um, motivated and to be, someone guide you, and basically, that way you can achieve your goals. You can reach um, the goals that you desire.
For sure, for sure. And let's say somebody who's coming in and they really liked it, and you ask them that question, but they still have, I guess, like the reference of the pricing for them being a little bit too expensive, or they're not sure about,
Mhm.
the pricing option. How do we go about handling those people without letting them go necessarily?
Okay, so then I will show maybe three packages, and I will show the most popular one. If they say, okay, this is a little bit expensive, for me at this time, so maybe I start with the less expensive.
I like
So
it.
this is just your choice for now, and
I
we
love,
try with this one, and then once you're ready, you can let us know. Then we can upgrade to um, different different level.
I love it, V.
Yeah, times per week. Yes.
That's wonderful. Perfect. This is somewhat of a easier question for, I guess, like our eyes, but there's sometimes that I found that sometimes people may not know how to approach this. But um, if we have somebody who's interested in our packages, um, I guess how's the process or how do you help them like make the payment right there and there, right? Because going back to the old question, if we let them go, I know we're gonna lose them. So how do you go about approaching them and taking payment without sounding a little bit maybe pushy or feeling like you're selling to them? How do you handle taking the payment with them for a package in the studio?
Mm-hmm. Repeat that again question, Diego. Sorry.
You're fine. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we handle taking payments from clients
Mm-hmm.
in the studio? Because sometimes people might be a little bit scared or they just want to point the customer to the website so they can purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But as we already discussed, having the client pay in the studio is the best way because if we let them go, we lose.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about helping them take payment without it being pushy or salesy or feeling, you or them a little bit not normal?
Um, all right. So I think it's simple. Once they choose that package, right? I ask what kind of payment you would like to proceed with, the credit card on, you know, any
Beautiful.
payment. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So you always take the payment just to make sure if they want to join in the studio, right? You don't point them to a website or somewhere else that
No, no, I don't think so. The studio is you know, I think it's the best because then, as I said, once they leave the house, they leave the studio, and once they get involved with other things in the house and they forget.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Perfect.
think that's get it at that moment. Yes,
That makes
get the
sense.
credit card information, save the credit card information, so for the future payments you don't have to ask. And then after a couple of months, they committed. They committed. They you don't have to ask. They just
They want to stay.
um, yeah, they want to stay. They want to stay. Yes.
I love it. Okay, so switching gears a little bit, once we get people into the studio, let's say you're giving a class in the morning and the afternoon, and you not only have one person who's new, but let's say you have three, four people in the class specifically who are
Mhm.
new, who are coming to the offer. How do you make sure to speak to all of them after the session, and you make some time to be able to make the sale?
Yeah, it's just not easy at the same time, but it's possible.
Nice.
I think it's possible. It's just that people, after the class, they want to chat, they want to share the moments with each other, maybe, make it a friends.
Yeah,
So I think, they're becoming more kind of like social, um, a little bit more social. They start chatting more because, with the exercise, they're more open,
for
I
sure.
think.
Yeah,
And so it's easy to connect with, I think, that more people because they're talking with each other, they're buying packages at the
yeah,
same time. So I think that's the key. Just importance after the class to make the payments,
I
no
love
matter
it.
how many people.
Do you maybe recommend finishing the session a couple minutes early, like 5, 10 minutes early if we have a couple people? And
Oh
just
yes, definitely. I would like to suggest all the instructors to finish about at least 5 minutes early the class. So that way you can collect the payments. You're not stressed out about starting the next class.
I love it perfectly. Couple final questions, and I'll let you go.
Mm?
So you mentioned instructors and help getting them to finish the class a little bit early. I guess an important question that I feel like it's very, very important to ask is how do you get the instructors on board to also help you like sell? How do you make them or what guidance do you give them so they can also use the approach and offer the packages after after the class?
Correct. So yes, it's I explained my sales process. Of course you helped me with that. You're the one who helped me as well um with the approach of the instructors, which is very good.
Yeah,
That's definitely meetings, helps to bring them together and explaining the process. Sometimes they not feel comfortable with the system.
of course.
Like I had Amy another day, she didn't feel comfortable, searching in the system. So she did a FaceTime with me and I help her online as well. So it's for the first time, until they get used to it, it's hard.
Exactly. No, and I asked because
Hmm.
I feel like I also wanted to do it with you, like meet with the instructors because like I feel like they are a really important part of the process, right? They're the ones who are
Of
giving
course.
to a new client. So, if we
Yeah.
can get like Amy, Julie, and Elizabeth to, offer the same process as you do, and while they are in the studio and maybe you're not, they can also sell. I feel like getting them on board is really important. That's why I wanted to ask. Um,
Right.
yeah. Okay. So I know there are some other studios that I've seen sometimes offer like a private session as a requirement to
Hmm.
go to a group class. Um, our approach at Optimal Fit is a little bit different, offering the intro session for the group class, and then if they want to join the groups, they can. If they want to join privates, they can as well. Um,
Hmm.
but maybe like from your words and your experience, I guess like what's the benefit of lowering the barrier to entry and not having a private class ask for a new client at the beginning, so we can get more people join for the group session, and then ours can be seen or approached by more people. Um,
Yes, I think that's important in the beginning. When I started the studio a long time ago, we also had those rules that private sessions first,
yeah,
and then we do the classes. But then, as a business, we realized that it's not profitable.
yeah,
It's better to bring more people in with the class approach, and it's a small group. It's a 6 people, 7 students, 6 students at the same time. So and one instructor, and of course, our experienced instructor, and they're not gonna get hurt in a class,
of course,
um, and it's more motivated for them to be in a group setting sometimes than by yourself, because I
exactly.
notice sometimes when people comes by themselves in a private group, they get a little like maybe uncomfortable, and at the end they end up to looking at the classes, and they said, "Oh, I'm not gonna join the class because it's scary for me."
Yeah,
But also the privacy is too expensive for me, so they don't commit to anything.
for sure. I think how to explain it better. Yeah, because group sessions I feel like are the best way to get more people, and if they want to join for privates, then we can just convert them from group into private.
Right.
That's perfect. Um, Talking about the schedule, V, and like your availability. I want to know, or I'm curious from your point of view. I've heard from other people that maybe sometimes when they're offering group sessions or inter-group sessions, they only offer like a small amount of classes, only like a class on Monday, a class on Wednesday, a class on Friday for the intro people, right? I know
Hmm.
that's the idea as well initially, but we're going with the approach of having like the schedule available for everybody. So if somebody
Hmm.
from can choose the classes. I guess like hearing from you, like the benefit of having the schedule open, so we can get people, we can give them different options, right? Instead of just limiting the classes
Yes.
to 1, 2, 3 sessions.
Yes, that's good. That's a very good idea, because if you limited the classes, then people they don't have that availability, and also I think it's more motivating for them to be in a full class, in a group class where the students already know what to do, and they're
Yeah,
like, oh, I can do like this. This is my goal. Maybe in a couple months, so they maybe striving for that goal too. They're looking, okay, oh, you look so good. She looks so good.
of
It's not
course.
like all beginners, so I think that's also motivation for them.
Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes it's scary for like coaches like you. It's like, oh, let me accept this person for the intro session, but I'm not sure if they're capable of doing the class or if their level is gonna be up to par with the other people. But I mean, you're totally right. Like
Right.
once they come in for the first time and they see somebody who's doing the session in a more advanced level, I guess it's like a motivation for them, no? Like, listen, I wanna be able to be where you are and
Yes.
achieve that level.
Yes, and then when they talk with our experienced students for a long time, because they get encouraged for them to making friends right away, and they said, "Oh, I was there where you are." The old client talks with the new client.
I
I
love it.
was there 10 years ago, and you're gonna do it. You're gonna do good, and they get motivated. So that's very important. That's a good power.
Yeah, that's the another thing, like the social aspect of the studio we haven't even talked about. We're
Yes.
not going to, but I think it's key to have a good environment for people to join. I feel like it's the most important. I guess
Hmm.
final question for you, V, and thank you again for doing this. I appreciate it.
Of
Is
course.
I guess like a final word of advice for coaches, owners, people. who are maybe getting those clients coming in through the door for the initial intro class, but they're maybe not converting them as much as they want to into memberships and packages. I guess like what would you recommend or what would you be advising for those people to improve their conversions and get more people into the studio?
I just, say just do it. Just be, just be more proactive and get more people in the doors. And the more you practice, the more you get confident because we all been there. And myself as well. As I started the business, um, I was not outgoing. I was very shy, and I was afraid, oh, what people thinking about me, what, my training is not good, right? But I
Mm,
think the more we do, the more we train our minds as well, and we become more confident.
I love it. Your training, I can be a testify that your training is amazing. I've done a private session and it's the best. So
Oh, thank you, Diego.
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm gonna start recording. Thank you for your help. Let me stop and say goodbye.
Okay.